Joining me here in Washington is Rafael Bernal. He's a reporter with The Hill, a U.S. congressional newspaper. Rafael, I think the question everyone is asking whether this indictment of Alan Weisselberg will lead perhaps to something bigger. Is this the tip of the iceberg at this point?
Well, yeah, that's the exact expression that we have to look for. This is not good for the former president, but if this is everything that the DA has, it'll blow over. Now, it's very unlikely that this is everything the DA has for a couple of reasons. Like your reporter said, these charges are very rare to be brought up. You know, it's sort of the lack of taxation on a few workplace perks. Yes, a lot of workplace perks compared to what, you know, an average worker would get. It's a lot of money, but it's still rare for charges of this sort to be made. So there very likely will be more to come. And really the question is whether Weisselberg will flip or not. And, you know, he is the one who has the most information, who's most knowledgeable on all the financial and tax practices of the Trump organization and the former president over the last half century.
He's also described as extremely loyal to President Trump and the Trump family. So, you know, would he really flip?
Well, he never has before. He's never even shown signs of it. Clearly, the DA, by going after him, believes he can scare him into flipping as a co-conspirator of something bigger. If, on the other hand, if there isn't something bigger, the argument that Trump is making that this is politically motivated and entirely politically driven will be given a lot of force, will be essentially rendered true.
So let me ask you this. What are the implications for Trump and his organization when you have the CFO charged with tax crimes? What, 15 felony counts, alleged 50-year-long tax fraud scheme? I mean, who in their right mind would want to do any business with this company now?
That's another really important point. It cannot be business as usual for the Trump organization moving forward. Of course, it hasn't been over the past 5 years. They've sort of, you will, sort of added a political component to this real estate and personal marketing or branding company. It'll be harder for them to get loans, for instance, for any large projects. But there's also the question of how many of the projects, of those kinds of projects, are they still engaged in after this shift into politics? But yes, as I said at the top, it's just not good news for the former president or his company.
Trump, of course, as you mentioned, has denounced this. Our reporter William Denzel also mentioned this, has denounced this as a political persecution, as a witch hunt. At the end of the day, does any of this matter to any of his supporters who, to this day, go to his rallies?
Well, that's another thing. Like, the Trump base will not be swayed almost by anything, apparently by anything. It wasn't swayed by January 6th. It hasn't been swayed by allegations of personal misconduct. So the Trump base seems set in stone. But let's remember, Trump lost that election in 2020 because enough people at the center were either tired of him or more convinced by what the Democrats had to offer. And this certainly doesn't help him with that center. However slim it may be in American politics, it's still where elections are decided.
So quickly, Rafael, what is next in this investigation? What will you be looking for?
Well, we'll be looking for if new charges come up, and especially how DA Cyrus Vance ratchets up pressure on Weisselberg himself. If they make him flip or not, essentially, that's what everybody's looking for.
All right, we'll leave it there. Rafael Bernal, thank you.